What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new exotic weapon just added to Destiny 2 with the launch of Season 18, aka Season of Plunder. Now, that weapon is the Delicate Tomb Exotic Fusion Rifle. This is the Season's Pass reward, so if you buy the Season of Plunder Season's Pass, this is available for you immediately at level 1. Or if you're a free-to-play player, it's going to become available once you reach level 35. So, what the heck does this thing do? Well, importantly, it is Arc, which is huge because, of course, Arc 3.0, the remake to all of the Arc subclasses, went live just now with the launch of this season as well, so this is definitely going to have potential synergies with those brand new Arc builds. The intrinsic trait here is Trader's Vessel. Fires a wide horizontal spread when shot from the hip. Final blows with this weapon have a chance to generate ionic traces. Powerful foes and opposing guardians always generate ionic traces. But it actually has another unique perk here, and that is Tempest Cascade. Collecting an ionic trace overcharges this weapon's next shot, jolting targets on hit. So, what the heck does that actually look like in-game? Well, ionic traces are a key part of Arc 3.0. If you ever played a Chaos Reach Warlock before this, you're familiar with arc traces. They are these lines of electricity that will flow along the ground towards your position. If they hit you and you collect them, you get ability energy. So it's kind of like picking up an elemental well that automatically comes towards you and is only for your arc abilities and so on. Now, that by itself is not bad at all. Essentially, this weapon has built-in wellspring in the sense that getting kills with it will result in you getting more ability energy. But on top of that, when you do collect an ionic trace, you will see the Tempest Cascade buff appear in the corner of your screen, and this is going to give you 13 seconds where your next shot with this weapon will jolt the enemies that you hit. And it is only for that next shot. Like, once you shoot that shot and you jolt some enemies, that buff will disappear. And Jolt is a brand new debuff introduced with Arc 3.0, and it says the target is charged with destructive arc light. As they take additional damage while jolted, they chain lightning to nearby targets. And you can see the result of that right here. I shoot a jolted enemy, and all these nearby enemies that I definitely didn't hit with the shot of the fusion rifle blow up because of that jolted target. So definitely jolting targets is going to help with your ad clearing capabilities pretty significantly. So, at a base level, you run around with this fusion rifle, you get kills, generate ionic traces, and those are going to let you jolt enemies for even more damage and ad clearing capabilities. And there's also the unique factor of its different aiming methods. So, when you are hip firing, you have that horizontal spread, and that's really only present on one single fusion rifle in the entire game, the one from Europa. Like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with that one. That doesn't see a ton of play, although it's actually not bad in PvE. Sometimes you want that horizontal spread so that you can absolutely clown on groups of red bar enemies. I mean, if there's a bunch of Thrall charging at you, that's exactly what you want to have. But this gives you the option, right? So you can have that horizontal spread, and if you want to have a more direct, focused spread to deal with perhaps a single powerful target, you can simply aim down sights. In a way, it's the fusion rifle version of the duality shotgun, right? Where it had pellet spread when you were hip firing, and then it was a slug shotgun when you aim down sights. And that's actually a pretty decent weapon. I still get killed with it in PvP, all the time. However, something so important about the Delicate Tomb, and the reason I keep bringing up Arc 3.0, is that a lot of exotic weapons just kind of have their own perks and abilities. For example, the Quicksilver Storm, the brand new exotic auto rifle for the Lightfall pre-order bonus. By the way, check out my video on it if you haven't. That's a pretty cool weapon. It's shooting homing rockets and doing all this stuff, but that's all just related to the Singleton exotic. You're not getting additional perks for doing so. Whereas with the Delicate Tomb, Ionic Traces is a keyword in Arc 3.0. Jolting targets is a keyword in Arc 3.0. You can alter your build to make this exotic more powerful, and vice versa. Use this exotic to make your build more powerful. Here's a great example of that. So I have the fragment right here, Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. So presumably this will stack with the Delicate Tomb, producing even more Ionic Traces, generating more ability energy, and jolting more targets. Another amazing fragment for this weapon is one that hasn't quite been unlocked yet, but it's going to be Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an Ionic Trace. And it doesn't say anything about chances, it just happens 100%. So, oh my goodness, you put this thing on when it's unlocked, and that means you get an Ionic Trace, you jolt targets, and if you kill them, you get another Ionic Trace, you jolt more targets, so presumably with Spark of Ions, every single shot, once you get going, will be jolting targets and therefore generating Ionic Traces. You basically go infinite with the jolting. Like, that actually seems really powerful. On top of that, we also have an exotic catalyst available for this weapon because it's seasonal, and you can start the big long quest by going to the gunsmith. And so guys, with all of that being said, right now it feels like a pretty average exotic. Like, it doesn't feel that much more powerful than a normal legendary fusion rifle, especially if you have like a good roll for it. However, I say right now, and I say that with a lot of emphasis, and that's because this weapon's stock will only go up further in the season. As new fragments are unlocked, especially Spark of Ions, this weapon will only get more powerful. As new builds are discovered, and perhaps builds that rely on Ionic Traces or jolting targets, this weapon's stock will go up. Especially once you get that exotic catalyst, it's just going to make this weapon better as well. So right now, again, it just kind of, first impressions, feels a bit average. However, because it has so much synergy with those Arc 3.0 keywords, and it can slot into Arc 3.0 builds, like, this could potentially end up being a very valuable weapon as the season continues and new things are unlocked and new builds are discovered. So definitely a weapon to keep your eye on. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.